YouTube, what's good, man? It's your boy Ron back with a brand new video. Today, we about to react to how good was Jerry Rice actually. We got a new subject in here in the rotation. We got football going on now. I'm gonna try to throw some boxing stuff from back then with Ali and Tyson and stuff like that. So when we go into this football, I know Jerry Rice is really number one when it comes to receivers in the NFL history. Like, I know he's the greatest receiver ever. Like, that's what I know for sure. You feel me? But y'all let me know like close seconds and stuff like that, or anything like if Jerry Rice wasn't as good as I think he is or something like that. Let me know in the comment section down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like. Subscribe if you guys are new. We're grinding for 1,000 subs. We have 452 now. And yeah, let's get straight into it, man.
What goals have you set for yourself?
Number one, I would like to be the all-time receiver.
If fate hadn't intervened, you may never have played organized football. You went to a college you've never heard of, and yet you went on to live in the end zone on Sundays and atop the NFL record books forever. So, just how good was Jerry Rice actually? While most future NFL players spent countless nights as a kid dreaming about making it to the league, that was the furthest thing from Rice's mind. Growing up in a Mississippi town with a population of just 600 people, he was the sixth of 8 children.
You know, I think growing up in Crawford, Mississippi is just like all family. Everybody, they were very close.
With 8 kids to provide for, Rice's parents had to work non-stop to just put food on the table. Mrs. Rice would clean the houses of rich families, while Mr. Rice was a bricklayer, in addition to a handful of other random jobs. In an effort,
I heard that Jerry Rice was actually catching bricks like with his dad at a job, so that's really how he got his hands for
corn, cotton, carrots, and bale hay.
Well, it was very tight, but I think it taught us the meaning of hard work and dedication. You know, we didn't have everything, and we had to wait out our turn for clothes, for everything.
By the time he was in high school, Rice's focus was so far from one day making the NFL that he still hadn't even played organized football. He loved playing it outside with friends and watching it on TV, but his mother thought that it was too rough for him to join his school's team. Then, on one random school day, Rice was doing something he shouldn't have been, and everything changed. His school's assistant principal caught him and a friend skipping class, so Rice fled the scene like his life depended on it. The assistant principal was so blown away by Rice's speed that he told the football coach about it. The coach immediately offered Rice a spot on the team. It was a problem. His mother still didn't want him to play. However, the more she fought it, the more her son was determined.
I had to go through the same shit like that. Well, she didn't. It's not that she didn't want me to play, but something like that.
Set to begin.
After I got disciplined, then the principal wanted me to go out for the football team. And
Were you great right away?
No, not at all.
Every day that summer at 7 a.m., he and one of his brothers joined his father laying bricks for 8-hour shifts on scorching hot days. Jerry said, "My brother and I, we had developed this technique where you throw the bricks up, they were separated, and I was snatching them in the air. Doing this over and over again sharpened Jerry's hand-eye coordination and increased his hand strength." He also said the experience taught him the true meaning of hard work.
We had a responsibility, and you had to live up to it. You had to help generate and bring money into the house.
And as if those daily grueling shifts weren't enough, after work, Rice would get dropped off for a 2-hour football practice. And once that was over, he'd then run 5 miles to get home. Rice said he wasn't the most gifted or talented player on the team, but he had something that none of his teammates did.
Work ethic.
An appreciation for and a love of hard work. By the start of his junior season, Rice was in unbelievable physical shape and ready to finally show the world what he could do on the gridiron. He played on both sides of the ball as a wide receiver and defensive back. But because his school was so small, most of his stats weren't officially recorded. But according to a sports journalist from back then, Rice, as a senior, caught 50 passes for 30 touchdowns. But whatever the actual numbers were, he did enough to earn himself a Mississippi All-State selection and attention from major colleges. Over 40 D1 schools contacted Rice, including his dream school of Mississippi State University.
40?
But none of them believed in him enough to offer a scholarship. The only program that did that was Mississippi Valley State, a Division I AA school.
He was trying to go on. He was not trying to play for school. I feel it. I ain't gonna lie. I feel that. He was not trying to play for school.
To have a conversation with him and shake his hand. that goes a long, long way towards making you feel you can really trust someone. Rice also explained, at the time they were also throwing the ball about 90% of the time, so it was a great opportunity for me. They assured me that the ball was going to be in the air, coming my way,
Okay.
and then it was up to me to prove to everyone that I could be a professional athlete. He arrived on campus eager to prove Mississippi Valley right for believing in him. As a freshman, he caught 30 passes for 428 yards and 2 touchdowns. Rice followed this up the next season by catching 66 passes for 1,133 yards and 7 touchdowns. It was a very solid start to his collegiate career. Playing at such a small program, Rice knew that he would have to put up eye-popping numbers to get the attention of teams and scouts at the next level. His junior season would most likely make or break his chances at going pro. The task was even tougher for him than people realized. As he said, the food given to him at school was not enough for a growing man. Times were so hard for Rice that he often had to rely on his friends for food. But this lack of nourishment never stopped Rice from getting in extra work with his quarterback. The duo became inseparable, as they would get in hours of additional reps together late at night. That season, their chemistry on the field was impossible to miss. Rice set NCAA records for most receptions with 102 and receiving yards with 1,450, on his way to being named an All-American. Just in case that didn't send a loud enough message to the NFL, Rice somehow managed to take his game to another level as a senior. He broke both of his records with 103 receptions for 1,682 yards and set another one with 27 receiving touchdowns. Having been named an All-American again,
Oh my
Rice
God.
shattered every Mississippi Valley receiving record, finishing for 301 receptions for 4,693 yards and 50 touchdowns.
That's a
During
good
his
ass
collegiate
college career.
He broke 18 NCAA records. It didn't matter
Damn.
what school he played at. There was simply no debating that Jerry Rice belonged in the NFL. Legendary 49ers coach Bill Walsh fell in love with him watching his college highlights. Walsh's team was coming off 2 Super Bowl victories in the previous 4 seasons, and he believed Rice would keep them at the top. Walsh described him as a swift, smooth player who's got great instincts running with the ball, going to the ball, and catching in a crowd. This analysis inspired San Francisco to get aggressive on draft day and trade their first, second, and third round picks for New England's first and third round picks. So, with the 16th pick of the 1985 draft, the 49ers did something Rice never thought would happen. They drafted him.
San Francisco 49ers select 16th pick in the first round. Wide receiver, Jerry Rice, Mississippi Valley.
Years later, he admitted, to be honest, I never thought I was going to get drafted. Heading into his rookie season, Rice was determined to reward the 49ers.
Now be the
for
greatest
taking
receiver
a chance
ever.
on
That's
him. He
crazy.
also wanted to show everyone that he belonged in the league, and his insane college numbers weren't just the product of poor competition. But what ended up happening was Rice was putting too much pressure on himself. In his first 13 games, he only had 28 receptions for 493 yards and 2 touchdowns. Looking back on this slow start, Rice said, I think I wanted to prove myself so much that I overdid it. I was dropping footballs, and then the media got down on me, and the fans started booing me. While this treatment would have caused some players to spiral out of control, it was a wake-up call for Rice. He tapped into his old ways by becoming the first player on the field for practice and the last one to leave. And everything came together in Week 14 against the Rams, when Rice exploded for 10 receptions, 241 yards, and a touchdown. 2 weeks later, in the regular season finale, he
That's
had
tough.
7 receptions for 111 yards, bringing
Damn.
CBS announcer Pat Summerall to boldly declare,
He is going to be a great receiver. Barring injury, he's going to be one of the best to ever play.
it was an extremely strong finish to his rookie campaign and generated a ton of buzz ahead of year 2. Everyone was anxious to see whether it was a fluke or a sign of things to come. The 1986 season would provide an emphatic answer to that question. Rice went out and led the league in receiving yards with 1,570 and touchdown receptions with 15.
Bro.
He showed flashes of brilliance, as there seemed to be nothing that he couldn't do.
Dude was
Rice
so
had the ability
nice.
to catch a short pass and then make defenders miss, beat them deep with his speed and route running.
Not gonna lie, you a quarterback's best friend if you can create a short pass into a long yards, to a lot of yards, bro. You're gonna be a quarterback's best friend, no cap.
As a first-team All-Pro, he was now filled with confidence. Rice built off his brilliant season with what was possibly the greatest season ever by a receiver. In the strike-shortened 87 season, Rice managed to rack up 1,078 yards and a league record 22 receiving touchdowns in just 12 games. To this day, the league record is only 23 receiving touchdowns, which Randy Moss did in 16 games. Rice had officially established himself as one of the next faces
Randy
of
Moss
the
a
league
problem
and
too.
was
I'm gonna have to
the
look into
offensive
him
player
too.
of
I'm
the
not gonna lie.
becoming the first
Randy
wide
Moss probably my
receiver
number
to ever
2.
take home the
Wide
award.
receiver
Having
of all
already
time,
filled his
right
resume
behind
with a
Jerry.
handful of personal accolades, the only thing missing was team success. In 1988, Rice set out to check that box off. He put together another dominant regular season, which was good enough for his third straight first-team All-Pro nomination. That postseason, he put San Francisco on his back and helped them to a Super Bowl appearance with 10 receptions for 194 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Damn.
The team's 2 wins. Then, on the game's biggest stage, Rice etched his name into NFL history. While leading the 49ers to another ring, and his first, he set 2 Super Bowl records with 11 receptions for 215 yards.
The throw is to Rice. Touchdown.
Rice becoming just the 3rd wide receiver ever to be named Super Bowl MVP capped off one of the most dominant postseason stretches ever by a receiver. Feeling on top of the world, things somehow only got better for him. The following season, Rice led the league in receiving yards and touchdowns with 1,483 and 17 before winning his 2nd ring. And again, he rose to the occasion in the Super Bowl with 7 receptions for 148 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Man.
In 1990, Rice won the league's unofficial Triple Crown for receiving by leading all 3 main categories with 100 receptions for 1,502 yards and 13 touchdowns.
Bro, what?
Realistically, Rice couldn't have scripted his first 6 seasons any better. He already had enough accomplishments to last an entire career. By this point, it was just accepted that Rice was unguardable. No matter what scheme an opposing defense
They could not.
conducted, he was going to get open. And over the next 4 seasons,
Oh
Rice
my
only
God.
continued his reign of terror on opposing defenses.
He
During
going
that
straight
stretch,
over
he
him.
amassed a staggering 374 receptions for 5,409 yards and 52 touchdowns, leading the league in receiving yards and touchdowns twice, respectively, and adding another Offensive Player of the Year award. And to cap it off, in 1994, Rice brought home his 3rd ring while making more history. Just as he had done in his first 2 Super Bowls, Rice made it look like he was playing against a JV team. He finished with 10 receptions for 149 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Damn.
This took his combined totals in that particular game to historic levels, as his 28 receptions for 512 yards and 7 touchdowns were all career Super
Man,
Bowl records.
what?
As people seem to take Rice's greatness for granted at this point, it would take him doing something truly special to surprise anyone. And that's exactly what he did during the 95 season, as he set a league record for most receiving yards in a single season with 1,848. It wasn't until 1997, at 35 years old, when Rice started to look human for the first time since his rookie season. In the 49ers season opener, he tore his ACL and MCL. And as unbelievable as this sounds, Rice, up until that point, had never missed a game throughout high school, college, or the NFL. And while this
That's
injury
crazy.
should have forced him to miss the entire season, Rice ignored doctor's orders so that he could return in time for Joe Montana's jersey retirement. In that Week 16 game, Rice electrified the crowd by catching a touchdown in his return. However, there was a cruel twist. As he came down with the ball, he cracked his left patella. This time, his season was officially over. Coming off
Damn,
these serious
damn.
injuries, people began to
I
wonder
can't
how
do it.
much
I hate
longer he
injuries,
could
bro.
play. And heading
I
into
hate
his
injuries,
14th
bro.
season at the age of 36, this speculation was more than fair. But if anyone could find their way back, it would be Rice, the workhorse. He grinded all offseason, rehabbing his knee and trying to regain his form. In yet another chapter where Rice defies all logic, he went out and became the oldest receiver ever to record a 1,000-yard season. He followed this up with 2 more solid
Off an
seasons
injury is
before
crazy. Oh my God,
Having
Jerry.
suffered 2 consecutive losing seasons, the 49ers decided it was time for a rebuild and said goodbye to the longtime face of their franchise. After being released in the 2001 offseason, Rice signed with the Raiders. Now 39 years old, with 16 seasons under his belt,
39-year-old
he
wide
should have
receiver
been running
is
on empty.
crazy.
Instead, Rice managed to do things that only he could do. He put together back-to-back 1,000-yard campaigns
Oh my
and led
God.
the Raiders to their first Super Bowl appearance in nearly 20 years.
That is crazy
He's the best. He's the best ever.
to play
What?
for such a long time. I had conditioned my body in a way that I could play for a long time.
But for the first time in his career, Rice came up short in the big game. Despite his 77 yards and a touchdown, the Raiders lost to the Buccaneers. That season, he was named an All-Pro and Pro Bowler at 40 years old, an unprecedented accomplishment.
Man,
for a wide
what?
receiver. After a frustrating
That's what I'm saying.
2003
As a
season,
receiver,
start
bro,
to 2004,
you getting
Rice
hit
demanded a
like
trade.
as a receiver. You almost getting hit more than a running backs. Like
in exchange for a 7th
that's
round pick.
crazy.
Rice couldn't really find his footing there and left during the following offseason to sign with the Broncos. However, he never wound up playing a snap for Denver and retired prior to the start of the 2005 season.
I'm done. I'm looking forward to the next phase of my life now.
On his way to being named first-team All-Pro 10 times, Rice led the league in receiving yards and touchdowns 6 times, respectively.
Damn.
When it was all said and done, he owned virtually every significant NFL receiving record. Some of the more notable career ones were receptions with 1,549, receiving yards with 22,895, 1,000-yard receiving seasons with 14, and total touchdowns with 208. To this day, Rice still owns NFL records for most career receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns. Nobody's even come close to some of these, with Rice having over 5,000 more yards than the next closest person and 41 more touchdowns.
He's the greatest ever.
To his individual records, to his team's success,
He's the greatest
there is
ever.
no debating Jerry Rice as the greatest wide receiver of all time.
For
No
surely.
other spot on football's Mount Rushmore for all players, regardless of position.
Hey man. I got my GOAT quarterback. I gotta go Tom Brady. Right. Gotta go Tom Brady. GOAT running back. I can't think of him. Bo Jackson. That's who it is. Bo Jackson, my running back. Bo Jackson. And my receivers, I'm gonna go Randy Moss and Jerry Rice. Like, oh my God. That's my Mount Rushmore for the football though. Y'all let me know who y'all got in y'all Mount Rushmore for football. But if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like. Let me know what you guys want to see me react to. I see I got something new in rotation. If you guys are new, don't forget to subscribe, and I'm out, man.